Hey, good morning, Melissa.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a long morning already.
Yes.
So, I wanted to talk about having the right insurance to get the supports that your kiddo needs. And I know that we get a ton of calls from parents who are like, I finally, um, got called on the list for my child to come into therapy. And now they're telling me I have to pay out of pocket because they don't accept my insurance. And I know that our FSPs work with families to figure that out, right?
Absolutely, and unfortunately, they're not getting the information from that particular doctor's office. Even when they're given a diagnosis, they're not told the right way that the right way to go about getting the proper insurance that's gonna give them the coverage that they need concerning behavioral health or mental health services. And we all have insurance, for our kids, and we find out the hard way. There's a lot of out of pocket. There's a lot of copays, and then when you start adding services like PT, OT, all those different kinds of therapies, even trying to get your child to see a therapist at school during the school day,
Oh, yeah.
so many programs, if you don't have the right insurance, you may not qualify for some of those programs, or you're going to pay an awful amount. And it's not that you don't want to pay that amount, it just gets unattainable when it's so much throughout the whole year and you have other bills and you would like to keep a roof over their head and feed them. Um, it starts to become a real problem of trying to pay for that.
I know um, when we were looking for therapists for one of my kiddos, they needed to see a man. And so I called my insurance and I'm like, we need to see a male therapist. And they gave me a therapist that was 45 minutes away from home down what they called Steam Valley Mountain, which was like a really sharp kind of mountain to drive down, up and down, certainly in the winter. And so, luckily, they found one that was local, but go to the first appointment and they're like, oh, we don't take your insurance. It'll be $100 a week. $100 a week. And I was like, oh, I mean, like, it would be nice to have that kind of extra money laying around, but I know I don't. So luckily enough, they applied for a very like approval through my insurance, and nobody mentioned that there is a special insurance that once you get a diagnosis, you're eligible for. So let's talk a little bit about that, about PH95.
I'm always so excited to educate parents on this and share this with them. You have to apply through your local county assistance office, either online or you can print out a paper document and send it certified mail, or you can actually call over the phone and do it over the phone, or go into your local county assistance office and fill out a paper form with them. So there's lots of different ways to apply for this. And I will say this to all my parents: anything that you're applying for, you don't have to be the one that knows if you're going to get approved or not. So if you feel like you need help with LIHEAP or food stamps, anything like that, I want you to apply and let them decide if you qualify or not. So don't approach this like, oh, we probably won't. We have insurance, so they're not going to allow us to get this coverage. They children are allowed to keep the insurance that you currently have. You don't have to take them off your insurance. Um, and you can apply for this, and it's based on their diagnosis. So it allows them to get Medicaid through the state, that that coverage, and it is going to cover so many programs in your area that you normally wouldn't qualify for if you're not receiving medical assistance. A lot of in-home services, getting let's say your child has autism and you're still in that time period where you're working on toilet training, you can get diapers. This is life-changing for a lot of families to get this coverage. And it can be so difficult financially, the hardship of everything that your child needs. This is the state's way of trying to alleviate that for you. So I encourage you to apply. You do have to turn in your income. You have to prove that you are a resident of that county of Pennsylvania, but they don't hold the income against you. So don't go into it thinking, oh, well, we both work, or I'm receiving child support, or, I just make too much money. None of that gets taken into account. You still have to turn it in, but what you're going to get in the end is a wonderful insurance that's going to stop you from having to drive an hour one way for your child to get services. Aside from the time, the money, that all that entails and the co-pays, and then you get there and they tell you, oh, you know what would really help? If they had this service and that service. So you start adding things on. And for most families, it's almost unattainable. I
It
have
really
talked to families that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and these things take time. You're not like going and taking an antibiotic and you got results right away. So this is like a long-term um, treatments that you're getting. It's not going to be over in a month. So this is, parents are looking at years of paying for these things. And to apply for this insurance and be able to get the coverage is, I think, the most wonderful thing. It really helps our families.
So the process, just so I understand it, is, and it's tricky because you can't get the insurance. And it's, just to be clear, we're talking about, it's formally called PH 95. You may, as a parent or a professional, hear people talk about the loophole. And so either is fine, but we want to make sure that you have what the accurate name is. So it's PH 95. So you need to get a diagnosis that your child has a disability. And depression, anxiety, give it all a shot. ADHD, definitely apply. So some of these things, it's a little bit like the cart before the horse. So, gee, if I can't get in to see a therapist, then how do I get the diagnosis? A lot of family doctors anymore are much more comfortable providing a diagnosis when they go in and they meet with a parent. But I've also been told that um, it can be retroactive. So maybe if you get a diagnosis from your doctor and maybe they're not going to be super thrilled because, I don't know, maybe they say your doctor can't diagnose depression or anxiety, although they can. You can still get started on the process with the doctor and then get into the therapist and get that other diagnosis from the therapist, the psychiatrist kind of backing that up. So by all means, get it started. And I had no idea. I mean, I knew about this for ages, and then I totally forgot about it when my kiddo was in school, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they could go to a therapist for an appointment during the day. They just get a pass." And there's this classroom. Most of the kids in school don't even know that this exists, but you don't have the right insurance. And that was all they said. And I don't know why I just wasn't in the frame of mind to go, oh, wait a minute. No, I know how to get the right insurance, but I totally forgot. So, don't, this is, I think, why it's good to talk to somebody else. And they could go, oh, wait a minute. No, you know that. Apply for the loophole. And again, the same way if you were to lose your insurance at work or you don't have insurance for your child, you just get online. Do you happen to remember the website?
Yeah, it's the Compass website
The
for
Compass website. You're gonna
yeah.
go ahead.
I'm trying to pull it up. It's www.compass.state.pa.us. And there's a very specific line after you fill out this application and you put all your information in. They're going to ask you a question. They're going to say, is there anything else we should know about this person? And on that line, you are going to write PH 95 and then include their diagnosis. And they'll have you follow that up with the correct paperwork, stating this is true. And that is what you need to use that term to make sure it goes through okay. And it's just, it's a process, just like any other thing that you apply for. When you do it online, you are allowed to save your application and they give
Okay.
you a number. So if you got 10 minutes to work on it and you're getting ready to make dinner or walk out the door, you can work on it for 10 minutes, save it, go back into it and open it back up. So being online or doing the paper form, you can still do it as you have the time. It doesn't have to be, oh, I need a solid hour, solid 45 minutes to fill this out. So it is very attainable. Um, it is a process. You got to go through the whole process and, give them the correct documents, pay stubs, things like that. I have found that when some of our parents are already in the system, maybe they're receiving food stamps or something like that. If you've already turned in your pay stubs to our state, then they will ask you, can we use what we have on file for you? And then you don't have to upload it again. So, we've learned a lot of different things of how it has gone for our families when they did it. And it is definitely attainable. Don't look at the qualifications and you turn yourself down from having it. Apply for it. Let them be the ones to say, oh, you don't qualify. And if you feel that they are in error, you can always go to what is the process of reappealing if you disagree with their decision. And if you feel like that you had the proper documentation, the doctor gave you this, diagnosis, I would say appeal that. And sometimes somebody didn't look at the line that says, is there anything else we should know? So I would reach out to them and make sure you verbally ask them, did they take pH 95 into consideration for this applicant? And sometimes it's just that one little thing, it didn't go through that way. And, they'll remedy that situation.
Now, if I remember the process correctly, you go to the Compass website and you apply for health insurance. And initially, they have everybody fill out the exact same application. They consider you for medical assistance the normal way. If you don't qualify based on your income, and if you've forgotten to write PH 95 or if they've overlooked it, then they automatically forward your application onto CHIP. And so you may get information in the mail that, oh, your child qualifies for insurance and you have to pay, it could be $50 a month, it could be much more. That is based on your income. That's because Pennsylvania has a commitment that all children in Pennsylvania should have access to medical care. So if you do get a letter in the mail that says, like, you don't qualify for medical assistance, but you qualify for CHIP insurance, and then I guess they have you pick whatever's local to you, and this would be your monthly payment, that's not medical assistance through PH 95. And that's going to, you're probably going to be better off to call and say, okay, yeah, no, I don't need CHIP. I need medical assistance. You may also get a letter that says you don't qualify because you have health insurance, so you don't have a need for another health insurance. That also is your trigger to realize that, oh, somebody didn't look where I wrote PH 95. And Melissa, you were saying that some counties have a preference?
Yeah, we have found with working with families all across the state in all these different counties that each county has a preference. And we've had one county say, can you please just come down and fill out a paper application or do this with us over the phone? Don't go to the website. And then the next county says, please go to the website, use the online form, and fill it out on Compass. So I would encourage parents to just make a call to their local county assistance office and just
Probably
say,
easy.
yeah, how would you prefer to have this done? How would you like me to do this? and they will know what is working currently for them. And sometimes it could just be like they're overwhelmed with applications, paper ones in office, and it would be easier if you did it online. Whatever their preference is, there's a reason for it. And I would definitely encourage families to just find out how, in your particular county, what's the best route to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you said, don't don't turn yourself down. Ask. And I know that a lot of us think, you know what, I'm not going to go through that hassle because I have good insurance. And you probably do. And there's probably lots of things that it will cover for your child. You may not have to worry about a copay. All of that stuff is great, but you just never know that sometimes there's more intensive therapies that commercial insurance just won't cover. If they want to do, in the home family therapy, um, like Melissa was saying, some of the more intensive therapy options. Perhaps if you need your child to go to an RTF. Um, those are all things that perhaps it's better for you to have this insurance through. So by all means, uh, apply and let them turn you down if that's something that they're going to do. But again, if done right, if it's properly caught and flagged, you qualify for medical assistance based on your child's disability, not on your family income, not on your assets, nothing like that. And like Melissa was saying, some of the things that our children may need, if your child has autism, they may need like special diapers, they may need special um, like food therapies, I don't know, all kinds of things. And we don't want to, when you finally get through and you finally get called on that therapist's list, you don't want to now have to wait until your insurance goes through and is approved before maybe another treatment that you didn't know about has started.
And I think for a lot of our families, we just want to take care of our kids. We just want them to be okay. We want them to get what they need. And sometimes, you know, not knowing what's out there, what's available to you, I understand how parents don't know that. They're just like got the blinders on. They're trying to take care of everything. And sometimes you can't lift your head up long enough to see, like, what do I qualify for? What could help this situation? So I would encourage any parent who's not sure and kind of wants maybe a better explanation or anything like that, please reach out to us. Any of our family support partners would be happy to walk you through it. Make sure you have the right number for your local county assistance office. Make sure you have the correct website. Um, we don't want our parents out there alone, feeling alone, like there's not help. And I think our state has done really well to create these services and have this insurance for our families.
And again, people could reach out to us if your child has a mental health diagnosis, again, that ADHD, autism, all the way through. If you have concerns about your child's behavior, give us a call. We are more than happy to set up an appointment with you. If you want, we could do a video call and we can walk you through how to fill out the paperwork. If you don't want to do it with us, we can walk you through and show you the steps that you're looking for. But be aware of those two important things. You call your doctor's office and they say, we don't accept your insurance. Your insurance doesn't cover that. You don't have the right insurance. All of those things that you hear should be a trigger for you to be like, wait a minute, there's some kind of insurance out there that will cover this. And, in I guess in defense of doctors' offices, they don't know. They just type into their computer and it tells them whatever the case may be. You get it, you don't get it. The other thing to keep in mind is pH 95 on your application. If you do your application on your own, make sure that you list, that's the key words, pH 95. Write it everywhere on your application. It's probably not going to hurt. Um, at least it'll get you through the process, but you can always reach out to us. Any final thoughts, Melissa?
I love that we can share this knowledge with people. I think it's been, to a lot of our families, it's been life changing to be able
Yeah.
to get those services and get them close. I know people are traveling all over the place, going from one place to the other, this place for this, another place for, OT. It could give you more time back, with your family, and just make sure your children are getting the best coverage possible.
Yeah. Well, I know we both have a super busy day, but thanks for your time this morning, and we'll talk to everybody next week. If there's a topic that you want us to cover, shoot us an email at contact@paparentfamilyalliance.com. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.